All right, let's dive right into a huge question for anyone who's getting started with data. What's actually harder to learn, Excel or SQL? They're both absolutely essential tools, but the journey to learn them, well, they couldn't be more different.
So yeah, which one is tougher to really master? It seems like a simple question, right? But the answer isn't just, oh, it's this one. The truth is, it really depends on what kind of a climb you're ready for.
You see, it's not really about one being harder than the other. Think of it like this. Learning these tools is like climbing two totally different mountains. One might start with a really gentle, easy slope, but have a crazy difficult peak, while the other starts off steep, but then gives you a much clearer path all the way to the top.
So let's start at base camp. What does it feel like to take those very first steps with Excel versus with SQL? The difference hits you right away. When you open Excel, you get that grid we all know, right? It's visual, you can click on cells, you see your data immediately. But then you have SQL, which starts with a command line. It's definitely less visual, but the language itself is actually designed to be super simple, almost like you're just writing a sentence in English. And that's exactly why Excel is the starting point for so many people, especially if you don't come from a tech background. People call it extremely intuitive for a reason. You can get these quick wins, clean up some data, build a simple chart in just a few minutes. That feedback is instant.
But here's the funny thing. The basics of SQL can feel just as easy, sometimes even easier. Its commands are what we call declarative, which is just a fancy way of saying you tell it what you want, not how to get it. You just type select name from customers, and when you run that first query and it works, wow, that feels like a huge, rewarding win. It makes the whole thing feel deceptively simple at first.
But that feeling of, hey, I got this, that early success can be a bit of a trap, especially when you're climbing Mount SQL. And that brings us right to the next part of our journey, the deceptive climb.
We call this the false confidence trap. It's that incredible feeling of just crushing basic queries, thinking you've totally cracked it, and then, bam, you hit a problem that makes you question everything. You're suddenly staring up at this steep conceptual wall that you just did not see coming.
So here's how it usually goes. You start writing these simple select and where queries, and you're getting perfect results back instantly. You feel like a total data wizard. Your confidence just soars. And then you get a real-world problem that needs you to combine data from a few different tables, and all that simple logic you were using just completely falls apart. Welcome to the wall. So what exactly is that wall? This is where we get into the real meat of the problem. Let's take a look at what it really takes to reach the summit and get to true mastery in both of these tools.
For SQL, the biggest single hurdle to learning isn't about memorizing more commands. It's about a complete and total shift in the way you think. It's all about mastering something called set-based thinking.
And this right here is the fundamental difference. Most of us, and most programming languages like Python, think procedurally. We're used to giving step-by-step instructions. Do this, then do that, then do this. But SQL is set-based. You don't tell the database how to find the data, you just describe the final set of data you want. It's a massive mental leap that honestly trips up even really experienced programmers. And this new way of thinking is what makes the advanced stuff so tricky. These are what you could call the great filters of mastering SQL. You've got complex joins, which is like weaving together data from multiple tables in really intricate ways. Then you've got window functions, which let you do calculations across a set of rows, like a running total or a 7-day average. And finally, query optimization, the art of making your query run in seconds instead of hours. Each one of these demands that you think in sets.
So what about climbing Mount Excel? What's at the top? Well, its challenge is totally different. It's not some big conceptual jump. It's more like a battle against the tool's own built-in limits. It's about functional complexity. And this really gets to the heart of it, scale. Think of Excel as a pickup truck. It's great for small jobs, but it has a hard limit of about 1 million rows. And let's be honest, it gets painfully slow way before you even get close to that. A SQL database, on the other hand, that's like a freight train. It's built from the ground up to handle millions, even billions of records with speed.
The other big challenge is structure. Trying to link data between different sheets in Excel, it can feel like trying to connect puzzle pieces with a tangled mess of string. You're wrestling with these monster formulas like VLOOKUP, which are slow and break all the time. But SQL is built on what's called a relational model. It's like the puzzle pieces were designed from the start to fit together perfectly, making it incredibly easy to manage complex relationships in your data.
So what's the takeaway here? Now that you know the terrain of both of these mountains, how do you pick the right tool for your specific journey? This little table really gives us the tale of the tape. Excel has that gentle, easy start, which makes it perfect for beginners and for quick business reports. SQL's path is steeper. Yeah, it's got that big conceptual wall, but it is the undisputed champion for analysts who need to work with huge amounts of data. But here's the most crucial point of all. You shouldn't think of these as competitors. They are powerful complements. Seriously, most data pros use them together all the time. They'll use SQL to do the heavy lifting, to pull and clean massive amounts of data, and then bring that smaller, refined data set into Excel to make pretty charts and reports. So in the end, it's not really about which mountain is harder, but which one you need to climb right now. One path starts off easy, but really struggles with size and complexity. The other has a steep conceptual wall, but once you're over it, you unlock enormous power. You've seen the map. So, which path are you going to take first?